Welcome back to Bullet Catcher Gaming, the place to be to get your voice heard on the next Ghost Recon game within the community, listening to your feedback, and we're going to be passing that information on to Ubisoft. And we're doing that by making videos that we want you guys and girls to engage with us with. We've already done a gunsmith video and we've done a weapons that you'd like to see video. Sandy joined me on those videos. He's on this one too. This is just going to be a short one where we try and round out what should be on the weapon wheel, how it should work, and the accessories that could go on it, and maybe a few accessories that might go on your weapon. Now, what we're going to do is the feedback that you've been leaving on those videos, we are going to make videos based on that feedback, so we can talk about ideas. Some people have left us some amazing ideas and we want to discuss them. And at the end of all of that, putting all three of these parts together, which kind of form the overall gunsmith, the weapons, the gunsmith itself, and the accessories, we should hopefully be able to put together a really good picture of how that part of the game should look. And then afterwards we will start on something else, probably be gear and camos we're going to do next. We've got plenty of ideas for that. So thank you for joining me, Sandy. So what we're going to do is let's start off by, I think really we're going to say, should we have a weapon wheel? And this is a question that we'd like you all to say. Do you like the weapon wheel? I think there's pros and cons to the weapon wheel. I know that Future Soldier had a different way of doing it. Wildlands had a different way of doing it. Those two were maybe slightly more similar in a certain way. I like the way that you bring your weapons up in Wildlands. If you went no HUD, it was a bit harder because you had to try and remember them. And it could be frustrating if you went past the thing you was after. Say you was after C4, you then have to go all the way back round again to get it. So I can understand, because of games like Far Cry and others, why the wheel works. I think if you're going to stick with a wheel, and I think they would stick with a wheel, how should that work? What we think it should be done is that, let's say there are 12 things on there. Nothing should be locked. All of them should be open. You should be able to choose exactly what goes into that. And effectively kind of picking your own things. So if you just want all explosive stuff in there and that's how you want to play, you could fill that with explosive stuff, different types of grenades and all the rest of it. We really want to hear your feedback on this, because is there a better way of doing it? And Sandy and I have thought about this. It is really difficult to come up with something that would kind of please everyone. And like I said, I really do believe they will go with some type of wheel. So how could it work? Is there other ways that it could work? Let us know what you think. But I think that's what they'll go with. Now, in terms of the things that could go in it, obviously we have frame and breach charges. They were very popular on the survey. And obviously, especially if they make a game where they are listening to the things that we've asked for, and they are hearing the fact that we're saying we want to be able to breach doors properly, or even breach doors, like kind of Rainbow Six Vegas style breaching, they would be really important. Smoke grenades are something I think everyone wants. White phosphorus was very, very popular. Multi-bangs people were asking for. Thermobarbaric charges as well, grenades. That's a really important one. I think we didn't have enough options for different types of rocket launchers, and lots of people have mentioned before they'd like to see a mortar setup that you could put in the wheel, that you select that and you can get a mortar, rain down mortars, instead of using that kind of wildland system almost where you just called them in from thin air, to actually be able to use them yourself and set it up. Bandages, replacing the kind of bandage system with tourniquets, or instead of the bandages as such, and you'd use tourniquets instead of really the syringes, because okay, maybe works in Breakpoint, but I think a lot of people kind of go, syringes takes you out of it. What's in the syringes? And it seems to be a popular thing in games at the moment, this magic syringe, which makes you better. So that's an interesting way of looking at it. Obviously, people want flashlights on the guns. I think that also is an important accessory, something that's been asked for again and again and again. And thermal and night vision scopes as well on your weapons is another thing that is very popular. We're not going to go into night vision goggles on your head because that will come within the gear and camo stuff that we're going to be doing. So there isn't a lot that you can add, but there are really important things that you can add to get this weapon wheel to work properly, and accessories, extra accessories that people would really like to see. Booby traps, yes. The types of booby traps we'll probably have to look at. If you've got any ideas for that, leave them in the comments. Sandy, what do you think of these ideas? Because one of the interesting things here, when we start talking about tourniquets instead of syringes, we also have to have a look at where is this game going to go in terms of realism, this next game?
Yeah.
Are we looking at the canteen, the water canteen, the eating like you do in a bivouac? Are we going to be eating in this game? If we're going to be doing those things, you can then start, where does that end? Are we going to be sleeping in this game? Some people might say that, well, that's getting a bit overboard now. Yes, you could probably skip that process, but do we want that? Do we want water canteens? Do we need those things in the wheel? Is that something that you guys want? Do you want those things? What do you think, Sandy?
Yeah, I mean, I think we can get too far into the weeds with things like that. I don't necessarily think we need water or rations. We could easily just imagine them doing that in the bivouac or in a safe house. I don't think it adds anything to the actual gameplay aspect. But going back to your other stuff, smoke grenades and things like thermobarics, to me, they're things that you would expect to see in pretty much any other tactical shooter. Flashlights as well. I don't know what Ubisoft's thing is with flashlights, but if most other games are doing it, I don't understand why Ubisoft can't.
Important as well that if we have flashlights, they actually work and don't give your position away by shining through a wall, of course.
Yeah.
Very frustrating. But so what about thermal and night vision scopes? I mean, like Call of Duty have been doing that for years. I think it's really important. Do you think that's something that people would like to see?
Yeah, I mean, you can actually get in real life just a clip-on piece for normal optics that then gives you night vision. So that could be something that could be added to the weapon wheel as such. So you can turn the night vision on and off that way. And you only have it when you're actually aiming down scope, as opposed to it just being a full filter all the time, which just sometimes takes you out the immersion as well.
Yeah, and what about the wheel itself? I mean, this is something that I think it's one of the hardest things when you look at how it should work, because there's part of me, we were talking before, part of me thinks that a wheel is not a great idea, and then another part of me thinks it really is still probably the quickest way of bringing all of those accessories up.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely pros and cons to both sides. I was originally sitting probably more on the wildland side, but the more I think about it now, possibly more on the breakpoint side now. It is a quick way to access things, providing that there isn't things locked in there, and we can customise it the way we want. Yeah, I think it'd probably work pretty well.
Yeah, a customizable weapon wheel, I think, is a must. You can't be locking things away. I find that really frustrating. Yeah. Obviously, some of that could be dependent on class systems, but as we've mentioned before, if there's no PvP attached to this game, they may not have a class system, which means you wouldn't have to lock certain things in it. But we'll go into more detail regards to that on a future video. So that really is the overview. There isn't too much to talk about in this part, unless, of course, you have some fantastic ideas out there of how to reinvent this, because we are all ears to new ideas on this. The kind of things, that accessories that could be used that maybe we haven't covered here, we'd love to hear them. Let us know, put them in the comments. We will discuss them in our feedback videos, especially if you leave us an awesome comment. And we've had some great ones. We will discuss them, and that will be highlighting those on some videos coming in the next few weeks. So thank you so much for supporting us. We hugely appreciate it. Thank you for engaging with us with comments and great ideas. Let us know what you think. So take care, and from both of us, we'll see you again on the next one. Bye bye.